we're returning this country and this state to common sense. We took cell phones out and we put the 10 Commandments in. All of the crazy ideology that's infected this land, I say, no, but we're gonna bring everybody in. National Guard, DEA, FBI, AT, I don't care. Anybody that wants to come help us take bad people off the street. Listen, we now second. We have the second lowest income tax in the country.
North Louisiana. We are honored to welcome a man who has devoted his entire life to service as a soldier in the U.S. Army and the Louisiana National Guard, his coolest job, a deputy sheriff, attorney, small business owner, congressman, attorney general, and now the 57th governor of the great state of Louisiana. He's been a strong voice for safer communities, better opportunities for family, and a future that shines bright in every corner of our state. As governor, he has moved Louisiana's economic outlook from 31st to 18th in just over a year. In his first year, he has enacted historic tax cuts for Louisianians, which has helped bring in over $70 billion in investment to our state. We're also very blessed to have with us today his wife, our First Lady, Ms. Sharon Landry, whose warmth and dedication to the people of this state make her a wonderful partner in leadership. And we thank you for being here with us today. The governor's on a tight schedule. As you can see, he did get here a little early, and we appreciate that. He's got another event immediately following this one, so he will need to depart right after his remarks. But before we welcome him, let's take just a moment of silence, if you'll join me, for the Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office Sheriff Brett Stassi, his son Captain Stassi, and to Deputy Riley. We remember him and his family. So if y'all will, just join me in a moment of silence for those guys. Thank you. Now, Governor Landry has prepared a short video that he will share with us before he speaks. So if you will please turn your attention to the screen and join me in welcoming the Honorable Jeff Landry, Governor of the great state of Louisiana.
After we swore in as your 57th governor, I didn't have to be North. I looked at a stack of books. There was a small book on Huey Long, and in it was a note from the author. And so he starts the book out by saying that when Huey Long entered politics, Louisiana was an immensely backward state. It was suffering from a stagnant economy, a dreadful education system, and one of the worst infrastructure systems in the country.
As Louisiana's infrastructure is critical to the nation.
He said, first of all, the leadership in Louisiana didn't seem to care. You know, I've always heard that politics is a selfish business. And I tell you, I just don't subscribe to that. Because I believe what Ronald Reagan said is that there is no limit
to what a man can do or where he can go.
If you don't care,
He gets the credit.
think about that.
By the way, Louisiana is the only state to improve its literacy rate.
Fantastic state with tremendous people and tremendous leaders.
Because we are no longer the laughing stock of the South.
Education climbs to its highest ever ranking in the
You cannot fix the educational system. You cannot fix roads unless you bring economic activity to this state. Today, we are living in the greatest story that has yet to be told.
We will figure something out here in New Orleans to make sure we come back.
And how it ends depends on you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that that video was put together for you to recognize that Louisiana has turned a page. Because as I said, whether they write it today or not, you are absolutely living in the greatest story that is yet to be told here in the state. And honestly, it really depends on you now. And when I wrote those words in that speech a couple of months ago, I did so with a tremendous amount of reservation and hesitation, because how it depends on you are words that place a great amount of responsibility now on you, the citizens of this state. Because you see, just over, it's hard to realize, but just over a year ago, this state stood at a crossroads. It was a state that had been long burdened by the weight of missed opportunities and systemic challenges, and I believe you all were ready for a new chapter. Were you? Yes. Well, I'm here to tell you and stand before you with unbelievable conviction that guess what? That chapter and that change has begun. But I need your help more than ever. And I don't say that lightly. Because you are the same people that entrusted me and those elected officials that are here today to right this state, to lift us off the bottom, to fix this broken state, and to place this state in her rightful place among a new industrial South that is growing here in America. And we have had so much success that I am convinced now that the problem that we have today is trying to get the citizens of this state to wrap their head around what is going on. It is unbelievable. And I'm going to try to walk you through that story, because what we need now is you all to go out like apostles to tell the great story. Now, I'm not going to tell you that we won't have problems and we won't have challenges along the way, but I can promise you they are the best problems to have. Like, y'all may complain about the traffic, or you may complain about the orange cones or the orange barrels, and you know what? If you calling me and fussing at me about that, I'm going to be the happiest governor there is. But let me tell you about that story, because that story just began like 20 months ago when you all took a chance on a little country boy from a little rural parish, very similar to this one, who, you know, all of the big shots around the state and around the country said could never be the governor. But you took a chance on me, and let me tell you, we're proving to the world the greatness of Louisiana. And that story, our story, starts off just like that video, because right after I got sworn in as your 57th governor, I go back into the mansion and I was looking around. I had this stack of books. People love to give me books. I love to read. I don't have as much time to read as I would love to. And I guess I was looking around for a manual on how to be governor. They had given me one when I was in Congress. That don't work out so well for Congress. And in that stack was a little book. I was looking, of course, as many of us do. If you got a stack of books, you're always going to find the thinnest one, right? And I found this thin one, and it was a book on Huey Long, written by a gentleman by the name of Tyler Lucas, who's actually from Texas. He wrote the book while he was studying at the University of Virginia. And I cracked the book open, and I mean, the first introduction to the book says, when Huey Long entered politics, Louisiana was an immensely backward state, suffering from a stagnant economy, a dreadful education system, and one of the worst infrastructure systems in the nation. And I remember I'm reading that book while I'm laying in bed with the First Lady, and I tell her, I said, listen to this. And she says, wait a minute, that's how Louisiana was when Huey Long was there? I said, yep. She said, so after 100 years, we still have those same problems? I said, yep. She says, how long was he governor before they shot him? I said, 1 term. She said, good luck, I'm going to bed. That's the truth. So she goes to bed, I keep reading, and the next paragraph caught my attention too. It said, now this is this young man writing this book about Louisiana. And he says, worst of all, the leadership in Louisiana did not seem to care. I'm like, wow. And I think that was like one of those moments when everything started to come into focus about the challenges that we have. But I'm going to tell you something. What I believe is different today, what I know is different today than back then, is that you have sent a critical mass of individuals who are engaged in the process of changing this state and who believe that it's better to worry about the next generation than the next election. And I want to recognize them. Every member of the legislature that is here today. I know Francis Thompson, who's been here since Abe Lincoln. And where y'all at? Y'all stand up. Y'all stand up. Katrina Jackson, Stuart Cathy. Who else? I know we got a couple of representatives. I want you to know, I want to say thank you to you all, and I mean it. And you should thank them. It has been a tough 20 months. Look how tired they look. Don't you worry. We almost at the point where things get easy. Things get easy. Thank y'all so much. Because I believe that we came into office with a promise. Our promise to you was to restore order, to reform education, and to ignite economic growth here in this state, and make sure that we return the government to the people. And I committed myself from the first day that you swore in. I'm a pretty stubborn and relentless fella, but I want you to know what I do. Since that day, I wake up every morning thinking, what can we do? And what can we do better? And I force people to just go do it. Just go do it. No more excuses. We're just doing it. We're going to move as fast as we can. And if we make a mistake, we're going to just fix that mistake, because we cannot afford to lay on our laurels anymore. And here are my tenets. Just so you know, I want you to know, this is part of that story. Our tenets is that if it builds the economy and it creates new jobs and it brings new opportunity to our people, we just go get it. We just do it right now. If it reverses all of the crazy ideology that's infected this land, I say, you know what? We return in this country, in this state, to common sense. If it supports our law enforcement and it puts criminals behind bars and gets them off the street so they can't harm us anymore, I say, you know what? We're going to just do it, and we're going to just do it now. Because everybody deserves to live in a safe community. It does not matter where you live. And there is a reason. I want you to understand this. There is a reason that the President of the United States mentions us again and again and again and again. Why? Because we are literally showing the world how to thrive. I know it's hard. I know. It's been so long. We've complained for so many years. It's hard for us to understand how fast we've gone. Because right now, it's not just me. I'm not up here just telling you this, and you don't just have to believe me. You can look at the statistics. Louisiana has never moved. I'm going to walk you through. I'm challenging someone needs to create a Guinness Book of Louisiana, because we are breaking all of the records. I'm serious. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You have to understand this story. It's unbelievable. We should literally be popping champagne, having a great time. I'm telling you, there should be balloons in this room. Because since becoming governor, we've cracked down on crime by strengthening sentences, holding people accountable in the criminal justice system who don't take bad people off of the street. My address to the legislature said, let me tell you something. You want to steal a car, you better hope got enough gas to get you to the state line. Because if you do, you're going to jail. And the results are real. And the results are real. I mean, look, even in New Orleans, which, by the way, 3 years ago was one of the most dangerous cities, not in the world, I mean, not in the country, but in the world. Crime is down 50%. 50%. And we started over there. And I know some people say, well, Governor, why you spend so much time in New Orleans? I know it's kind of like a family with a bunch of kids. You always have a tendency to stay with the worst of the bunch more often, trying to change it. But don't you worry, I ain't forgot, y'all. And we're taking the lessons that we've learned in that city, and we doubling, because we doubling down. We are working with the federal government. We're going to bring everybody in. National Guard, DEA, FBI, AT, I don't care. Anybody that wants to come help us take bad people off the street and restore order in our streets is what we're going to do. Sheriff, where is it? Where's the sheriff? And then we started with public safety. Then we moved to education. Why? Because don't y'all believe that kids are our future? Huh? That's right. They are. And I want you to know we inherited an educational crisis. But today, we're witnessing a renaissance. We pushed through some unbelievable, dramatic educational reforms up and down the system with those folks who just stood up, standing with me, saying, you know what? We're tired of being last. We did things like institute a Let the Teachers Teach program that cuts the excessive bureaucracy and the paperwork and lowers classroom disruptions and gives teachers more control of their classrooms. We took cell phones out and we put the 10 Commandments in. Took a whole lot of grief about that, but I want you to know something. I want you to know something. Your child will either read the 10 Commandments or he will read the criminal code. That is a fact. And ever since we took those commandments out of our schools, we've had more problems with crime, and especially juvenile crime. And guess what? Just Monday, what's today? I get lost in the days. I just work all the time. I think just Monday, the Fifth Circuit went in and said, you know what? Louisiana, we think Louisiana's 10 Commandments law is constitutional. We're going to have the whole panel for the Fifth Circuit hear that case. So get ready. I think we're going to win. And the result, no. I'll tell you a couple of the other things we did. We passed some Gator Scholarship program, and I'm going to tell you something, when it's fully funded, it's going to empower, because you know what? We're empowering parents. We're empowering parents to be able to control their child's destiny with their money. Okay? Because the money that we pay, the taxpayer that you all pay into the system is your money. It is not our money. And those kids don't deserve to be stuck in schools just because of a zip code. And we want our schools to flourish. We want our public schools. I am a product of public school. My mother taught in a public school. And then, now this one's real important. I guess we ain't got any teachers because they're in school right now, right? But like, this is important. Any of y'all married to teachers? Got some teachers that are kids? Yeah. Y'all gotta have more than that, yeah. Look, you can go home and you say, the governor said, because these folks helped me that stood up, we are going to finally give teachers a permanent pay raise. But it depends on you, because it's going to be on the ballot next year. And let me tell you why it's so important. We had a lot of confusion on those last amendments. I take all the blame. It's okay. Look, we are using money that's sitting in an account where the interest paying down, that's sitting there while we're paying down debt, and that money, $300 million, is going to Wall Street banks. And I'd rather them go to our teachers' pockets, wouldn't y'all? Yeah. And that's what's on the ballot. I'm going to tell you something. Those teachers are going to be so happy, because you know what? They are working their tail off. I know. Let me tell you how our teachers' report card looks. Unbelievable. Louisiana is now ranked 13th in education in the nation. What? Our fourth graders are #1 in the nation in reading growth and second in math. We're only one of 2 states. Yes, it's unbelievable, I'm telling you. Like, it's okay. We're no longer a cautionary tale. We are like actually the model. I know you're like, this can't be happening. There's no way. Our rankings are the highest in the history of the state. So we worked on that. We worked on public safety, we worked on education, we went to tax reform. I'm going to tell you something. Everywhere I went, throughout my service as Attorney General and then on the campaign for governor, all I heard was about all the problems this state had. I'm going to tell you something. You know how you fix problems? You get people jobs. You get job opportunities. You increase families' annual wages. And to do that, you have to have a tax policy that tells businesses that we're open for business. And so we went in and we did tax reform, and we lowered every person in this room's income tax. Every one of them, every one of y'all. And my goal is that we now we have the second lowest income tax in the country. My goal is to eliminate the income tax. Now I want y'all to know something. Y'all kind of close to Mississippi. Y'all say, wait a minute, Governor, I heard that Tate Reeves, my good friend Tate Reeves, he eliminated the income tax in Mississippi. That's not true. I mean, almost, it's kind of. The media in Mississippi is much better to Tate Reeves than they are to Jeff Landry. Because let me tell you something. If you say, well, no, I want to move to Mississippi because they got no income tax. Let me tell you something. Mississippi's income tax is higher than Louisiana's right now. They're going to graduate it out. They don't get to 3% until 2030. We at 3% now. And that is going to help increase take-home pay. But take-home pay is not going to increase just because of our tax reform. It's going to increase because of the historic. Here we go again. I'm telling you, like, I'm challenging anybody out there to go tell me where I'm wrong. The way I know it's wrong, because I keep saying it, and the media loves to tell me when I'm wrong. Historic economic development. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I know, how many of y'all got to see me on the campaign, me and Sharon on the campaign trail when we were running for governor? How many of y'all? Raise your hands. I know there's a few of y'all. Not too many. Well, okay, it's okay. Y'all saw I was exhausted. I'd come up here to North Louisiana, and I kept telling everybody, I said, let me tell you something. This place is going to look different. As governor, we're going to change the face of North Louisiana. We're going to bring jobs to this area like never before. Everybody's like, woo. Maybe I should vote for him. He's got to be the best lie out there. But let me tell you, where was the first economic development mega project we announced as your governor? Where did we announce it? Huh? I'm telling you, I saw something in this area of the state, maybe many of y'all never did. I see an unbelievable opportunity. This place is going to change. It is going to look patently different. And it is going to be unbelievable because you're going to be a part of what the people of this state have been wanting, and that's a diversified economy. We've been wanting it. That's all I heard all the time. We got a diversified economy. Let me tell you something. Guess what? The diversification of Louisiana's economy started right here in North Louisiana. And it started with that Meta project. And let me tell you something. It ain't stopping. Where's the Meta folks? I know they're here. Okay. How about a round of applause for these folks? Now look, I know my people from Louisiana. Y'all not quite as bad as those Cajuns I grew up with. But I know a couple of y'all saying, oh, the traffic. But I got it. We are going to work through all of the great problems that those projects cause. Because let me tell you what we stand to, what you're going to gain. Not stand to gain, you're going to gain. The average salary in Richland Parish, before Meta came in, was $30,000 a year. Those permanent jobs that that gentleman and his company are bringing in are over $90,000 a year. You hearing me? That's 3 times. We went and announced a chip manufacturing facility over in Ruston, in Lincoln Parish. Lincoln Parish, I think they got a little better. They like 38,000. Those jobs, 500 jobs over there, or 300 jobs over there, $87,000 a year. That is what is going to keep your kids in Louisiana. That is what is going to make sure that your grandkids don't go to Texas. And guess what? It is already proving that we're doing it. It is unbelievable. We have, let me just give you this number. I say it's over 70 million. Okay? But it's not. Lawrence Scott went over there. He's smart, big economist. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He went up the other day in Baton Rouge and said, we have $92 billion worth of projects on the books. Like, let that sink in. $92 billion in a state of 4.5 million people. I just got off the phone with my good friend Sarah Huckabee. She was bragging to me, Arkansas is just about to announce a $4 billion deal. I said, that's great, Sarah. You should say, I'm happy for you. I really am. Like, I'm serious. They over there popping champagne for $4 billion. We got almost $100 billion. I'm telling you, like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Largest, Meta is the largest, another record breaking. That project is the largest private investment in the history of North Louisiana. In the whole history. But this development is not going on just up here, it's going on all over. We have the largest construction project in North America going down at the southern tip of Louisiana. Woodside Energy just went down to Lake Charles. We broke ground, $17.5 billion. Largest foreign investment in the history of Louisiana. It's an Australian company, Woodside Energy, right there. I mean, I'm telling you, it is impossible to spend that kind of money without lifting people out of poverty. It is unbelievable. It is historic, and we're doing so much more. Let me tell you what we're doing specifically for you. We are finally, y'all gonna really love this. Y'all should jump up out your chairs when I tell you this. We are finally modernizing the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm serious. We finally got some technology we're working on right now. I mean, you have been getting your driver's license on software that was invented when Francis was 50. We are revamping. We just reorganized the Department of Transportation to make sure that we keep track with the record amount of roads and bridges that we are building right now. In fact, I think 17 in Northeast Louisiana this year. Well, we almost did. Within the next 8 months, 10 months, better do it. Y'all, we're going to replace 17 bridges up here.
Wow.
And those great folks from the legislature deserve all the credit. I need a little bit more money. We're going to do some more. But we've reorganized that department. We're cutting waste and demanding efficiencies in your government. We found $6 million worth of unused cell phones. We got rid of some buildings. We canceled some contracts that don't work anymore. We went into the Medicaid program and found it's going to be way more, but I'm going to just say $75 million worth of savings by taking people who are illegal on the Medicaid roll and taking them off. People who live in other states and taking them off. They even had some folks that were dead and collected Medicaid. 75 million. And guess what we did? We took that money. Let me tell you what we did. We took that money, those savings, and just yesterday we announced that we increased the physician pay for Medicaid to almost 85% of Medicare. Now let me tell you why that's important. Because my goal is to work people from dependence to independence. And the healthier our population becomes, the more work they can do. And the more work they do, the more money they make, and the more they get off of social programs. And so we want a healthy Louisiana. And I'll tell you something else. Contrary to what a bunch of people say, I have signed the largest effort to crack down on frivolous lawsuits in the history of this state. That's another one. Put it right there in the book. Because for the first time, and I'm telling you, it was like, I was like, I'm either gonna do this, it's gonna go real good, or it's gonna go real bad. That's been the story of my life anyhow. Because I was the first governor to take on both insurance companies and lawyers. Because they're both to blame. And we went in, and I'm gonna tell you something, it wasn't fun. And despite all those folks that were wailing, the media that was wailing and crying, and there was some radio show folks saying that I was doing one side's bidding versus the other. Let me tell you something. Right now, because of the reforms that those folks helped us pass, you are seeing the largest decrease in insurance policies in the history of this state. Over 20 insurance companies have filed for rate decreases just this year. Historic. I went back and looked. I went back 30 years. There wasn't more than 5. Last week, Farm Bureau reduced their rates by 11%. And then last week, I announced a brand new company that's coming in to write commercial property insurance. And I know we got a lot more to do. I get it. Somebody might say, well, mine ain't going down. You should check that out. Okay? And believe you me, property insurance is a problem. It's a bigger problem on the coast. And we're going to work on it from south to north. It's unbelievable. And so I want you to understand something. I want you to gauge the folks around this state, especially in elected positions. Because I want you to understand something, that leadership is not about how loud you can yell. It's about how well you lead and how much work you actually get done for the people that you serve. And for the first time in over 30 years, last year, 30,000 people moved in to the state of Louisiana rather than 35,000. Why? Because people see what I'm seeing. They see a state that's on the rise. And the rest of the country, though, I just want you to understand, this is why, don't forget, you got to tell a story. Because the rest of the country is not just going to lay down and let us take our people back. They're going to try to work to compete against us. That means that we have to work even harder. But don't you worry. We're going to live by those tenets, and we're going to just keep moving. And if you have faith in me, if you go out and tell that story, if you just smile, like we have forgot how to smile in this whole country and have a good time. We invented fun in the state of Louisiana, and we're going back to having fun. Because this is really the greatest story that's yet to be told. And I want you to know something. This is not the end of our journey. It is literally just the beginning. Because we are no longer in this state going to be defined by what we were. We're now going to be defined by where we are and where we're going. A state where families thrive, where businesses grow, where children learn, where communities are safe, and where the government serves the people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Louisiana's moment. This is your moment. You own this success. You tell the story let the world take note that this is going to be the greatest story that's yet to be told. And right now, it depends on you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I love being up here. We're going to be back up here some more. I promise you, Mr. Simmons said I can come, and he will give me a gift certificate to the sporting goods. So thank y'all so very much. Thank you, bro.